Good morning, South Beach. Good morning, South Beach. Here we are, the Fifth Street Gym Podcast, episode number 14 with our special guest, Hector Lombard. And the list goes too long between the Olympics, bare knuckles, MMA, champion. It goes on and on, but I'm super excited to have him here. Hector, thank you for coming to our podcast.
Thank you. My pleasure, my coach. Don't forget, you were my coach too.
That's it. We actually train together. We have, of course, Patrick Healy and my partner, Tom Sadas, and my daughter, Gabriella Spencer. So we have a big cast today. Very excited to have you. You are now the bare knuckle champion. And how does bare knuckle feel to you? Just tell us your experience in bare knuckle, very in general. What do you think?
I love the company, the content, the no glove fighting. I mean, I love all kind of fights, from boxing to MMA, to all of it. But this one is special because it's a little bit more brutal, you know. Sometimes you ask the guy, like, hey, you want to fight with no gloves? They're like, what? Nah, I pass. But I just love it. I just like the brutality in it.
It's got two hammers right there, too. Look at this.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone was made for bare knuckle, it was you.
Yeah.
You had a little incident that everyone got super excited about. You just won a fight, I think. You were in the ring, getting ready to announce. They were announcing the winner, and then tell us what happened.
Yeah, this clown of Jogana. What is the name of Jogana?
Clown.
I call him clown. He was in my face the day before. It's been in my face like couple times, couple incidents. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking at him. I thought, this clown thing that I'm scared of him. You know, like he really think in his mind, in his stupid mind, that I'm scared of him. He doesn't know that I don't scared of no man. Period. So after the fight, he's just getting in my face. I even block him. I even kind of like put the stop, like don't keep approaching me. So when he violated that, I had to give him 1-2 piece. And I was going to give him more, but he kind of woke up to himself. He said, oh shit, this shit's real. He gave me like the chicken leg. Because I hit him, he went like, oh shit. And then he walked away.
Huh. So there you go. That was enough to get him away.
He was basically trying to rain on your parade. It was your day. You fought, and people that don't know you, you're really mild.
And it's funny, like this past event, he was trying to say hello to him. I said, you know what, just go away. You don't even just come near me because I gotta give it to you 1-2 piece again. And then also he doesn't know like we're real fighters for real. He doesn't know that. You know what I mean? Like he feels like, a kid that got this fighter or whatever. Nah, you don't gotta get that with me, bro. I will fight you any way you want. Period.
And also, we saw, I think, Woosley trying to kind of like come up to you.
Woodley.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So what happened there? Because I saw that too on your, and he basically
was waving me. He was waving and saying hello. I said, like, just, bro, you forgot what you should stick to me,
And explain it. I want to hear like.
What happened back in the days? I'm not perfect any shape and form, so I have a messed up relationship. A relationship that really cost my career up. Basically, I was on top of the world at one point, 25 wins straight, 2 times Bellator champion, signed the biggest contract in UFC history, and I got involved with this girl that she just. It was a gold digger, and me for being so stupid, like I was just gonna change it. Ended up like I changed my life being without women, my life went downhill, like party, drugs, alcohol, fights, arguments every single minute. And when I was with her, I met a girl at the gym, and she's training, and he sent me a text, hey bro, she got injured, I'm really good at rapping, let me fix her. He just want to fix his, he's down there. That's what he wanted to fix, you know what I mean? His desire. So he's, since God died, because I wouldn't be here today, I wouldn't be free. I would have lost my freedom, but I would have given an example. He's just lucky that when I find out and I call him, he was on his way to Louisiana.
And his way, I'm sorry, to where?
Yeah, where he lives, where he's from.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm happy that it happened that way, and I'm happy that he wasn't there, because it's not about the girl. It's about the action. It's about, a lot of people confuse. Oh, what are you fighting for, a side or whatever? No, I'm not fighting for none of that. I'm fighting, for the betrayal. I'm getting pissed off for the betrayal of, bro, I'm you call me your friend, you just call me, and then you just go behind my back and talking so much crap about me. It's just a joke, man.
So when this happened, that was in the back of your mind, and now he's trying to be friendly, maybe trying to capitalize.
It's always been in the back of my mind, like that action I would never gonna forget, ever. I'm never gonna forget that, because imagine like you have a friend or so-called friend that acting like he's your buddy, he's your boy, and then behind your back he's talking so much crap about you. Meanwhile, he's just doing worse. He's very focused at home, and he's just trying to say like it's wrong what I'm doing, that I have a girlfriend at that time. But meanwhile, you marry with 4 kids and you just try to do that.
So that was in the back of your mind when he approached you?
Yeah, when he approached me, I'm just like, you forgot what you just did? You know what I mean? Like, you forgot who you really are? And then he's just trying to, bro, I forgot, I thought that you... No, I haven't let it go, man. I haven't let it go. Let's fix this. Let's do it. Bareknuckle, he said like he would never do Bareknuckle. He's got no bones to do it. I said, let's do it in boxing. Let's finish business.
So you'll fight him anyway.
Anyway he wants.
Stand up.
He knows. I already dropped him a couple times in sparring, and I can't wait. I know for a fact he's gonna lose against Jake.
So you think Jake will beat him?
Jake will beat him for sure.
He will.
And this is what people doesn't understand, that Jake is a really good athlete, and he's very explosive, especially.
Have you ever sparred him?
I haven't sparring, but I should see it. You can see when somebody's good. You can see hitting the mitts. The guy is good. They got a good reflexes. He's got good movement. He's got a good full work. He's got good power. He's tall. Like, guy is good.
He's way bigger.
Yeah.
Way bigger.
He's good. And people think because the guy come from Judo, but the guy's now full-time.
That's all he does.
Boxer.
Yeah, that's all he does.
It doesn't matter, like just because I came from Judo, I can't strike. So I don't understand where the minds of people,
So you think, which, and I don't know really that much, but I would tend to agree that I would not just say, okay, this guy's a YouTuber, he can't fight. He does this full time, he's got the right thing, he's picking the people right.
I can ask 1 million people, 1 million UFC fighters, 1 million boxers, and 1 million athletes, what you did before. Oh, I used to be a bartender. What you did before. What I used to wash cars. Yeah, but that's what you used to do before.
Doesn't mean now
you go and ask thousands of athletes out there, thousands, because you gotta pay your bills. Just because you did that in the past doesn't mean that you still are
the same thing.
You know what I mean? A cleaner. You clean like GSP. GSP did it. Pick up trash at the beginning.
What's the worst job you've ever had, now that you mentioned, like before fighting? Have you always been in fighting, or was there a job that when you were younger you just didn't like that you did, that you're like, I'll never want to go do that again?
I worked in construction for like a week. I just didn't like the fact that they were treating me like a shit, especially up there in Australia. They're very racist. And every color person that lives in that country understand what I'm talking about. you won. The people say or think that America is racist. You haven't lived in Australia. Like, they just call you a nigger in your face. They just call you, they had name for everything. If you came from Italy, they call you a walk. Yeah, you are a walk. A walk stands for you're walking guy. You came to our country to work. If you came from a Latin country, they call you speaker. Hey, speaker, speaker. Because you speak Spanish, so they call you speaker.
So how long were you there, and how did you wind up there?
I went there after the Olympics, but my point, what I'm trying to say is like they have a name for every immigrant. They have a to pull you down. So when I went there, I just didn't like that, like I felt like it was super offensive, and I just decided not to work anymore and, make my living doing other stuff.
And speaking of the Olympics, tell us a little bit about your Olympic background, since the Olympics are going on right now.
Yeah, I was doing judo, and when I got there in Australia, they said to me like, hey, bro, listen, judo, here you're never gonna make a living. They call it two people fighting in pajamas. Like I say, in Australia, they have a name for everything. So they call it like two people fighting in pajamas. And I have to make a living. I had to make a living doing other stuff.
And then, but tell us about the Olympics.
The actual Olympics.
The actual Olympics.
It was great. I truly believe, no lying to you, I truly believe like the Sydney Olympics is still the best Olympics I ever watched or experienced. The whole atmosphere, the whole thing was crazy.
And what year? So
2000.
Hector, could you talk to us a little? What I'm really interested in is the Olympic training that goes on in Cuba. We've heard from Yoel Romero. He's talked a lot about the Cuban wrestling program, how intense it is, the Olympic program. Talk to us about like the judo program in Cuba and the intensity of that training before the Olympics.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get the whole training Olympics because when I was in the national junior team, I was like really good. I was like the promise. They used to call me the promise. And I got involved with a fight. There was this guy that was super jealous of me. Like I was so good at judo. They used to call me this guy gotta be the promise. So I got my black belt when I was 15 years old. I was smashing everybody. And there was this guy, and they always want to pick a fight on me. And one day I called him up. I said, like, bro, listen, I'm not scared of you, bro. I'm not scared of you. Pick somebody else. And anyways, we ended up, clashing again.
You were a kid. You were a kid at this time.
And I almost, I injured the guy really bad. He almost is out. So they suspended me for life, and my coach saved me and saved my career. And I joined the national, and then I joined the Olympic team in a year and 7 months. So I couldn't have the full camp for the Olympics, but I just made the Olympic team. So I can't really tell you how hard it was because I couldn't join the full 4 years. I couldn't, but just because I got myself in trouble, it got me out. And then because I was very talented, they got me back again, but it was too late. It was too late for me to just kind of to do the whole full camp.
So you didn't really experience like that full Cuban training camp, but you still had amazing
I
success.
still just was lucky enough to make it to the Olympic team,
The promise.
Yeah.
For real.
But that's like my story with. And there's always somebody up there. This is something that really always bothers me. Like there's always somebody that wants to take the lights of the good of me.
Take the shine. You're shining.
Yeah.
Shine off.
Here am I like in trouble with this guy because he couldn't beat me and he was so jealous. And then here am I again. I'm in trouble. I'm out. I'm suspended for life. Yeah, and it's just sad, bro.
somebody handed me a question. I'm going to let Dino ask a little bit later, but for my point, out of all of between judo, out of everything that you do, what do you think is your best discipline for you that works best for you? I know you do different things, but what do you enjoy the most? What do you think you're the best at?
I still gotta go for judo because
really
judo was my first, and it was, you know, it's like an old saying, like when it's your first, it's your last. So
it's your love. It's your first love.
When you have the best, when you every single time you have the best experiences when it's your first experience. So judo was my first experience, you know, as a combat sport, as a sport in general, you know. And besides that, it's really good for balance. When you fight in the groups, it's basically like you boxing with the grips. Obviously, you get a lot of balance, you get a lot of equilibrium. It's a great sport, you know. I think like every kid should experience that sport.
Yeah, actually, when I was about 16 years old, the local YMCA had judo, and I did that for about a year, and I loved it. You know, I should have stuck with it. But switching over to you've known him for a long time. He was at the gym opening when we opened up 10 years ago. I remember from the upper.
At the grand opening of the gym, he was there.
The grand opening of the gym.
Remember when Muhammad Ali and
Angelo
Dundee, we had like a big meeting.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
And then 10 years later, he comes back to the gym, and we work together, getting him ready for his bare-knuckle fights. Everything comes full circle.
Yeah.
It's interesting because one of the things that Angelo really kind of drilled in my head was to allow every fighter to be himself. And when you train Hector, he's got all this experience. He's got his own style. He's got his own drills. He's got his own idea about how to be successful. And he's been so successful, you actually wind up learning from him. Typically, the coach is the teacher, generally speaking. But you once in a while, Bernard Hopkins is another situation.
Yeah.
I learned more from Hopkins than Hopkins learned from me, and the same with Hector. I wind up learning more from Hector than Hector's learning from me. So it's a very interesting situation that you have. When you find yourself, basically, you're going to find yourself in most positions that have more experience in a multitude of combat sports with every coach you get with. How do you develop that relationship with a coach? Because it's difficult. If it's simple, if I know more than the guy, he has to come to me for knowledge. It's very simple. But when the fighter knows more than the coach, it becomes a little confusing. So how do you feel about the situation when it is that's the case?
It's a good point because we always have this chat. I don't know how many times we always have the same conversation about the same topic. Like, you know, I always come to you and say, like, you know, that's one of the reasons what I like about you, that you have so much confidence in yourself that you don't need to go over there and change an athlete. You understand that he's been there, he's done that multiple times, so there is no point for you to take from him because I'm seeing you doing an amazing work with Luis Palomino, you know, and the list goes on. You're just adding to it. You never take away what they have, and this is something that I really respect from you, and I always tell you all the time. Not now on this interview, but I always tell you that this is something that I really respect from you. Like when you see a guy like Baboon, Palomino, me, whatever these guys have been fighting for, you know, 20 years plus, you should never go and say like, oh no, don't do that. You should look, you know, you see him move and say like, hey, let's do that one, let's do this. But you know, actually come, like there is a bunch of freaking trainers up there. I know you want to mention names because I don't want to offend anybody. That they should come and say like, they had the audacity, they had the balls to come and say like, hey, don't do it that way, do it this way. I'm like, oh, fuck you, man, like shut up. You know, and me, one of the things that when I was hitting rock bottom was like start listening to other guys, you know, telling me what to do. I remember like, I'm not gonna mention names, I was training with this coach and he was always correcting me like, no, just go across. And I'm like, coach, I'm a super short guy. If I start with a cross, somebody gonna step up and hit me, right? like I was telling him for a week and a half. And then I ended up just kind of like saying, all right, I'm going to start with the cross. We go to the fight. I open out with the cross. The guy just stood back. Hit me right here. It broke all my socket. My eye pop out like this. You know, here am I, like I can't see. You know, I'm fighting 3 rounds. And the very first punch is like broke my eye socket. So that eye, I couldn't see from there. And then from there, the guy just picked me apart. But, you know, from that day, I said, like, you know what? Anywhere I go, I got just kind of stick what I do it. And I don't give a damn if you like it or not. If you like it, I'm out. And I got to do it my way. Because when you fighting, it's you. The one that got to pay the mistakes. So that's a little bit of experience that I have out of so many that I just don't lie to you. You know, if I feel comfortable with something, I will do it. And if you're my coach, you don't like it, I guess like I gotta have to move.
Yeah, which makes sense. I would be the same thing, exactly. Gabriella, you okay over there? Say hi to everyone. Say
Hector,
hi.
you've competed in literally like every martial art, it feels like. Kickboxing, boxing, bare knuckle, MMA, judo. You know, I've watched a lot of interviews with Khabib, and he's obviously a massive fan of judo. That's where a lot of his base comes from. His father was a very, skilled judo practitioner. He talked about how judo, out of every discipline, fighting, wrestling, is number one, the hardest, most difficult.
I agree with him.
You agree with him?
Yeah.
So everything you've ever done, judo, wrestling, boxing, bare knuckle, the hardest thing that you've done is judo.
Yeah.
Physically,
I
mentally.
totally agree with him. Judo is a very hard sport, and it's sad because when we mentioned that, believe it or not, I get a little bit emotional because I was so good at judo. I was so good, and the minute that I have to prove and shine and show the people like I was a great judo player, that situation happened to me. So, what we got in here?
We got our sponsor.
This is a sponsor.
ANTOJO.
This is from Guatemala, and
it's actually roasted right here in Miami Beach. ANTOJO coffee, and they're giving 2 for 1 for all the Fifth Street Gym sponsors. Fifth Street Gym podcast viewers. They can get a 2 for 1. If you buy a bag, you get a bag for free, and all you have to do is put the code Fifth Street Gym, and you'll get the code. And actually, he brings the coffee to the gym for us, and it is delicious.
It is good.
It's
I'm
not bitter.
it looks good.
It's delicious. So I have a bag for you. I have some for you already. Don't worry.
Yay, we got it back.
And it's funny, judo, I just started doing jiu-jitsu as a beginner, and a big chunk of it is judo. And the biggest thing about it, what makes it so hard, and what makes it such a direct correlation to life, judo's all about getting knocked down and getting back up. And that's really what it is. And it's about not letting someone knock you down, even though you're tired. That's the whole thing. The whole game is getting knocked down, and if you get knocked down, get back up. And that's really what life is. It's very obviously very technical. There's so much to it. I don't mean to simplify it, but as far as a life lesson goes, if you're a little kid in judo and you get thrown down and you get back up and thrown down and get back up, you can really put your mind in that place when you're 45 years old and the IRS tries to take you down. When you're 50 years old and your ex-wife is trying to take you down, you can really use that to get you back up off the mat every single time. Well, I'm ready when you are.
My daughter's doing judo.
You ready for judo?
She can be my daughter's partner.
They teach you how to fall.
That's right.
Correct. How to fall. They have to slam.
It's funny because we all gotta fall at one point.
That's right.
Right?
I don't care what anybody says.
Hit the mat. Keep
You
your
gotta
head
hit the floor. And if you're brave enough, you gotta get back on your feet.
Yeah.
If you're a coward, you gotta stay on the floor.
Now there's days where I like to lay on the floor and not get back up.
You drink a little coffee, you get back up, right?
So what's next? What's next for you? We have a bare knuckle fight. When? Who? Do we know any of those details yet?
I got good news for you. I'm actually I'll put it up there, especially for this Is somebody recording?
Yeah,
Yeah, the camera.
yeah, right there.
We gotta finally we gotta finish business. Me and Thiago Alves at the 185.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, exciting.
So that's gonna be great. We're fighting for the bacon 185 belt. And like I said to a lot of people, because that's why I wanted to fight Thiago. I was telling a lot of people, Thiago is one of the biggest names in BKFC. And you can keep talking?
Yeah, keep going, go.
And besides, he's one of the biggest names. He's one of the most experienced athletes in there. And that was my issue. That was not even an issue. That was my point. I gotta call the guy who he's
Not the name, it's the man.
He's a big name. He's very experienced, and nothing to do with me calling him out because I wanted to fight him. I just want to test myself. I wanted to fight an experienced guy with a big name, with a lot of experience in other combat sports, et cetera, et cetera.
As the biggest name in BKFC, that's the most exciting.
No.
And the most success between the two of you, most success in combat sports, it seems to be, as long as you can both meet at the same weight, it seems like the most obvious.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 185, and I can't wait.
And how soon do you think we can get this going?
It's gonna be November.
Wow, very exciting. Okay,
Before the year end.
before the year ends.
So
Dino, you in the past too talked about on your tips, Dino's tips about strengthening the hands, right? And when I look at your hands, I'm like, damn, those are some hammers.
I've been fighting Bareknuckle, believe it or not, all my life.
All your life. So you've been
Since
building
I was
up
a
that
little
strength in your hand. Do you do anything outside of the ring, training wise, to strengthen your hands, or you naturally just have rock solid hands for bare knuckle?
Let me tell you a story. I remember when I was a kid. I was under 10 years old, and I'm in the neighborhood, and obviously my dad didn't like me much, and I always was out, so because he never cared about me. So I'm playing my balls, right? Because I don't know if you guys do that in Italy. You get a chunk of balls and you aim on it, and then if you hit it, you win the ball.
Oh, sure.
So I'm playing. I was really good at it, and I took all the balls from this kid. Then he didn't want to pay me. He just took off. Anyway, a couple minutes later, he come back and I beat him up. And then he just ran to his house, right? And called his dad. They came to me. He's like, now you gotta come to our house and I'm finished business. You guys gotta finish business. I said, all right, I'll go. He had about 10 kids. And he was lining him up. Me fight one, the next one. As I'm fighting,
So 10 rounds,
they
10
grow.
different opponents.
They growing. At the fourth one, I'm like getting tired, getting old, beat up. I need to find a way to get the hell out of here because these kids, they gotta knock me out unconscious. And I found a way and I left and I ran. But with what I'm telling you, it's I've been fighting since I was a kid.
So how many of the 10 brothers and sisters did you fight?
It was only 4 because at the feast I was jumping, I was running. I was like, I'm out of here.
You
You
got
guys
4
know
for 4 before you left.
Yeah.
That's all right. Good deal. Very good.
I'll take 4 for 4.
Yeah, that's not a bad neighborhood record, right? I mean,
Dude, I was 4-0 in that neighborhood in Broadway.
Where was this?
I was a long time ago when I was a kid.
Where in Cuba? Where?
Oh, Cuba, yeah. That's
What town are you from? What city?
Matanzas, yeah.
Matanzas. Gotcha.
You smoke Cuban cigars?
All the time.
Oh,
He does. I have to bring a song.
I do,
You
yeah.
smoke Cuban cigars?
I have 2 there for you.
Very
It's my
nice, very
gift.
nice. It is such a pleasure to have Hector in the gym. Whether he's just coming to visit, because he does. He brings his equipment from his champ management, champ wraps. He has, how many
What
patents do you have?
logos?
I have 17 now.
17 patents. He's also an inventor. And he's always bringing these new toys, new combat sports toys to help me coach, help me
Wraps,
train.
gloves.
He's got a unique wrap system for your hands. It's funny. He invented a wrap system that is really arguably the best hand wraps you can buy. And he hits the bag, hits the gloves, hits the mitts, hits people with nothing on his
what's
hands.
it like? How does it?
It's got a pad
It's
built
funny
in.
because one day I'm at the gym and I'm an inventor. So I'm there and I see every fighter they had like a little sponge and they were holding it. And everywhere I go, I see like everybody has a sponge. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna come out with the wrap that has attached the sponge.
The built-in padding.
So that's what I did.
It wraps super easy. People can wrap their own hands.
Smart.
Yeah.
It's easy. I was like,
everyone's always doing that. They're balancing.
Everything is about detail. Honestly, like it's a lot of things that you can invent, or a lot of things that you can come out with. It's just right there. You know, you just have to.
Is there a website for the company?
Champ Wraps, yeah.
Champ Wraps. Okay. Very good.
But yeah, like I like. It's funny you said that because you always say like, man, here we go again. Hector's coming with some stuff to give away. Bro, stop. But I feel like when you come to a place and you give something, I feel like the atmosphere changes. I feel like, especially the atmosphere of the person that you giving a little bit of present, it feels like they feel like grateful. Like they're like, wow, you know, like it's just for that little detail. Because I remember my grandfather is one of the persons that I love the most, right? And my grandfather, every single time that I would see him or he would come over or I would go to his place, he would have something for me, like a little thing. And I was always happy to get to see my grandfather because I knew he was going to give me something. So I found a way to say, let me see my grandfather, let me see what he got for me today.
And I do. I just feel guilty because I love having you here. You don't have to bring me anything, but I always love the toys.
I know, but that's just like.
And my clients, he has got the thing that helps you tie your gloves with Velcro. So if you have laces gloves, he's giving me foam sticks that don't fall apart after 2 workouts. He's giving me the Champ Wraps. He's always got a new toy. And training in boxing is very monotonous. It's jab, cross, hook, uppercut. Same thing day in and day out. So when he brings the toys, we get to use it on my clients, on the fighters, and it makes it that much more interesting. So we really love having you.
Looks like we're putting Gabriella.
Let me ask you now a question because you've been asking me a bunch of questions. I need to ask you a question. What is so special about a fish gym? Like, no matter who you are, you have to come to fish gym. Like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Mayweather, list goes on and on and on and on. They always have to come here. What is it?
The reason why it's a world famous Fifth Street Gym is because of Muhammad Ali. That being said, Tom and I got to spend a lot of time with Muhammad at the end of his life, also with Angelo. And we have a great video of Angelo telling us, I'm so excited about you kids reopening the Fifth Street Gym. The amount of pressure that was put on me to maintain a level of energy and an atmosphere that was so important to me that I just feel like that's my life's work. It's not about being in the corner for a world champion. It's not about making some supermodel skinny. It's about keeping this roof up, keeping the door open, keeping the energy alive, out of respect for those 2 giants. And Muhammad being the greatest of all time, to have that responsibility, I take very, very seriously. In turn, we've used their example, and one of the greatest examples is that when Muhammad trained, and he was the biggest star in the world. They said, beside the Pope, he's the most recognizable face in the world. When he trained, they never closed the gym. So when you train, you're a world champion. We don't close the doors for you, or Baboon, or Adriana Lima, or Jake Paul, or anybody else. We don't close the doors for anybody. So it's a welcoming feeling that Muhammad set that precedent, exactly, to make everyone feel welcome. And he would spar with guys in the neighborhood. He used to spar with the guy that eventually became the mayor. He wasn't a fighter. He would get in there with everybody. So the fact that he did that and he set that precedent is something that we have now followed along. And I think that more than anything is what makes Fifth Street so special.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. In my opinion, I think these gyms should be all across the globe. You know what I mean? Like, these gyms should be, because I feel like every country should have a piece of history like this, a piece of memorabilia like this everywhere you go. So if I'm in France, I would like to see a fish gym in France.
That'd be great.
If I'm in Italy, I would like to see one in Italy, right?
I like it.
Right?
I think your invention brain is working again. I think it's a great idea.
No, but
I love it.
Imagine, let's suppose I'm in Spain, right?
Yes.
And I want a box.
That's
and
it.
when I look and I Google, say like, That in Spain, I'm there. Because it's like in Cuba, right? If you in Cuba, if you haven't seen Hemingway, the Marino Hemingway, you haven't been Cuba.
Well, if we could do that also for all our Italian, Spanish, and French viewers, please, we're ready to open up Fifth Street Gym Europe. So
Can
whenever
you franchise?
let's do it. I'm ready. I think it's a great idea.
Another
put the
thing
work.
I do want to say too, like for someone like myself who just likes to stay in shape and train.
Brother, imagine like if you from America
Right.
and you already know the name. Because
Exactly.
everybody in America knows the name. And you go and I'm in Spain and I want to just move around and I want to do boxing because we all like boxing. Oh shit, it's a fit gym here in Spain? You should go. You don't even ask any more questions. You
That's
should.
for anyone out there that wants to stay in shape and work out too. The cool thing for me as a fan of boxing, obviously the history that Dino just outlined, which is incredible. But for me, I'm just trying to stay in shape. I'm here hitting the bag, and Hector might be next to me hitting the bag as well. So what's more motivating for that as someone out there who just wants to stay in shape? You can have world champions around you working out, and you can draw stuff from them, draw some motivation. So that's the type of like atmosphere you're in here, which most gyms don't have. I mean, where else are you going to be able to walk in and train right next to a world champion?
That is my favorite part of the gym. My favorite part of the gym is is when I'm training just anybody and they can look over and see someone like Hector. The inspiration, the motivation is just, you can just see their it's like someone turned them on, plugged them in, and they go from being a housewife to, in their brains, you can see they turn into the champion comes out of them. And it's the most fun part of coming to the gym for me. It's so exciting. And then what I've seen very interesting the other way is I've seen the world champions. Next thing you know, they're talking to a doctor, a lawyer, an investment banker. Before you know it, they're at a meeting. Before you know it, something comes from it. Something comes from it. And all of a sudden, one of my fighters, he's like telling me how he owns 3 condos. You own 3 condos? I didn't know. I thought when I met you, you thought a condo was a condom, and now you own 3 condos. And now they've met, they've made relationships, they've grown, and everybody grows from the relationship, and it's been very exciting.
Yeah, it's a super special atmosphere in Hector. I remember actually maybe the first time stepping into this gym, I remember seeing you and Luis in the corner talking after training. I think Daniele was in here, Christian Thun, the big heavyweight. He's bigger than life. He was in there all at the same time. And then there was just your normal average day people jumping rope, working out. And I'm like, man, this is a pretty unique atmosphere. You don't really walk into that too often. So, I mean, the story of Muhammad Ali, the lineage, Tom and Dino creating that welcoming atmosphere, and then you're training around world champions every day. So, like, what's better than that? You gotta.
And by the way, Muhammad is always been my favorite athlete at all.
He's gotta be. Right?
Always be.
So we have
Number one.
We have to follow
Muhammad.
Hector on. Where do we find you on social media?
Hector Lombard. My name was
That's it, Hector Lombard.
At Hector Lombard.
Instagram.
Same.
At
Same.
Hector Lombard.
Okay, at Hector Lombard. Very simple. And we have champraps.com. And you could also, we have, Tom is in charge of the world famous Fifth Street Gym, just Fifth Street Gym, at Fifth Street Gym. There's Dino at Fifth Street Gym.
You can follow me at Brooklyn Boxing Podcast on IG, or my personal, which is _Patrick Healy.
I heard about that Brooklyn.
There you go. We're doing good.
I
We're
forgot.
We're getting
And
the name out
Gabriella
there.
Spencer.
And Gabrielle Spencer has her own Instagram as well. So if you can follow her modeling career. And other than that, this is this podcast will drop on Wednesday, so everyone be ready for it. And we will see you.
The crazy guy, the producer, subscribe and
subscribe.
like, because he's going to wake me up at
Okay,
3 o'clock in the morning. Why
You
don't
have
you
to
do that?
subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fifth Street Gym, and you have to hit like. And please, comments, questions. Frenchie will get them to us. We get them on here, record and get the answers, get them directly to you. Try to be nice if you can help yourself, because keyboard warriors are not our favorites. So try to be nice, but we'll be happy to answer.
Hey, listen, I start getting used to these guys because honestly, at the beginning, that's why I didn't want to have no social media, because they used to piss me off so much, and I would go and I would scream at them on the computer. Now I'm just like, all right, whatever you think.
They're definitely crazy if they want to fight you.
You know who my favorite champ in the gym is, though?
Who's that? There you
Gabriella.
go.
Right?
Other than that, we will see you on the beach. Ciao for now. Here we are with our brand new sponsor, my man here. We call him Turco. He's a member of the gym. from the Salt Cafe at 1401 Collins. Everybody travels to Miami Beach at one point or the other. No matter where you are, you know you're going to come. You're going to come to 5th Street, and then you're going to eat at the Salt Cafe. It's a Turkish Mediterranean restaurant. He's got a lot of things on the menu, but what I like the most is the baklava. Turkish baklava. No offense, Tom, but it's really moist and delicious. So everyone, if you follow my Instagram, you know everyone's curious, what is Dino eating next? Well, I'll tell you, baklava.
So he was telling me, as a Greek, that he's got the best baklava, blah, 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 blah. I've heard the stories, yeah. Man, I gotta tell you, this is by far the best baklava I've ever had. And I'm not just saying it because he gives it to me for free. It's like buttery, it's good. Soft, it's good. But tell me a little bit about the cafe. You can't eat it, I'm keeping hoping.
Our Salt Cafe is kind of, we try to create a brand and environment like European, Tulum, Mykonos style restaurant cafe on Miami Beach, where everybody's welcome and can find something from all over Mediterranean, Greek food, Turkish food, and Italian or American as well. Also the music that we try to select, good environment music, something that welcomes everybody, not only one type of music that just plays for certain people. So when you come in there, you're gonna feel kind of like a Mykonos, Tulum vibe. Very welcoming. We have a lot of guests that's
website address, so they know before we forget.
It's 1401 Collins Avenue.
So 14th and Collins, basically on the corner. I think it's on the
right
north,
from
east corner.
Yes. So that's
Is
what
it
we
attached
try
to
to
hotel?
create. Yes, it's underneath the Beach Plaza Hotel.
The Beach Plaza Hotel. So when you're in Miami Beach and you come visit us here at the gym, you're gonna have to go. You have to party when you're in Miami. That's just a rule. Even if I know you want to stay in shape and be healthy, but you can get healthy food by him as well. Have at least one piece of baklava.
You have to try about
Have to try it.
Just so you know that I was right. Other than that, any specials coming up that they should know about, or if they see the gym, will they get a
all of
discount?
our gym members and the locals can have a 20% discount.
Oh, there you go.
At Soul Cafe, as well as our new and upcoming projects.
And you're opening up. It's kind of a secret, so I don't know if I should say anything. You're almost there.
It is a secret. We have 3 projects on the way.
Wow, very exciting.
In a week or so, we're gonna sign all those contracts and the leases. For now, I don't want to say anything when it's not 100% yet. But it's hopefully good things are gonna happen.
So my question for you though is, this is a boxing podcast. Who is your favorite fighter
Of all time.
All time.
of all time?
I would say Muhammad Ali, of course.
Muhammad Ali, of course.
Of course, was.
And who's your favorite fighter right now? Active.
Right now.
Right now, I would say Canelo.
Canelo. We're getting a lot of Canelo fans.
A lot of
Oh,
Canelo
you're a
fans.
Turkish guy.
Even though he beat
Avni.
Yeah.
Turkish guy, I kind of know Avni too. But Canelo, you can say anything against that. Right now, he's the best.
He's on fire. You're
He's
right.
the hardest working guy and smart.
Perfect. I love. He's on fire right now. So that everybody, make sure you go to when you come to Miami Beach. We'll see you at the 5th Street Gym, and then we'll meet you for dinner at the Salt Cafe, 1401 Collins Avenue, Miami Beach, Florida. Don't forget the baklava.
Baklava, which is his nickname. Baklava head.
Ciao for
Thank
now.
you, coach.